Yeah, you fucking pin this thing and it goes, man. Made in Thailand. That's why I got such a good price on this. And even back home, it's still priced pretty reasonable. I got this bike for about 3,600 bucks because it's made here. Now their 230R, the version of that bike, you're not going to see them in showrooms, but you can order them. They're made in Indonesia, so the prices of that are a lot higher, which is the opposite of what it is in the States. If I'm not mistaken, the 230, the dual sport is more expensive than the 230R, which is the true trail bike. I think they have an aluminum swing arm. The gas tank is plastic, and it's a lot lighter. It's about 40 pounds lighter than this model. That's actually cheaper, but here it's the opposite. This bike is really perfect for somebody, especially if you're, I'm going to say about 5'10", 5'11", and shorter. The seat height is just about right. You can see I can get over. Now I've got about 1 inch heel on these, but I've got both feet down on the ground. In sneakers, just slightly comes up a little bit, but I think it's perfect. It's perfect for riding on the road, especially when you're starting out. If you're completely new to riding a motorcycle, or you've ridden bikes where you can get your feet down flat, this is really good because it gives you that confidence. I mean, obviously you should be braking with the right foot, and the left foot is what would come down off the ground when you go to stop. But you want to get both feet down, you can. So in addition to a good price, an affordable price, you got a good seat height, but also the bike is lightweight. When you compare this to an ADV bike, even if it's a small ADV bike or a mid-sized ADV bike, this is a lot lighter. That's just under 300 pounds, although this is certainly not light compared to a motocross bike or like a true trail bike, but in its class, compared to say Honda, this is a light bike. Most Hondas are over 300 pounds. The KLX 300, I think, comes in at, I could be wrong, maybe 303 pounds, 304 pounds, which isn't so bad, but this at 293 is at a reasonable weight. You drop this bike, you can pick it up with ease, no problem at all. Another thing about this bike is that there's enough power. I think it's a whopping 15 horsepower, and maybe foot-pounds of torque are somewhere around 11 or 12, if I recall from the videos that I've seen on the dyno. But it's enough to put a smile on your face. Woohoo! Holy shit! Yeah, this thing's got plenty of giddy up, especially if you're a newer rider. I can't imagine you need anything faster. But it's also a good amount, or I should say a lack of a good amount, so that you're not going to get in too much trouble. The only caveat would be if you intend to ride this bike exclusively on the road, and you're 5'10" or taller, I might recommend to go up to the KLX 300. As a newer rider, like I was, especially going off-road, I had some experience riding road bikes when I was younger, but not a lot. I never owned my own bike. This was the first bike that I've owned. But getting on the, at the time it was the KLX 250, which I believe is the same seat height as the current KLX 300, which took the place of the 250. The seat height was only about just over an inch taller, but it was noticeable. I guess it was with the not only the seat height, but the shocks. This is a little bit softer, so you do compress a little bit more, easier to get your feet down. On the bigger bike, my whole thing when I got on it, I was like, how am I going to ride this on the street if I can barely get my feet down? But when you learn to ride, you realize you should be using your right foot to compress the brake, and your left foot comes down, and you kind of lean off slightly to the left side of the bike. So it's not a problem. If you do plan to do almost exclusively off-road, and I would say if you're under 5'10", you might consider the KLX 140. I believe it's the RF. It's a reasonable price. It is strictly a trail bike, so it's not a dual sport. You can't take it on road. I suppose you could plate it eventually somewhere down the road if you did the upgrades. But for the most part, if you're just going to trailer a bike, throw it in the back of a van, and head out and ride off-road, and you're new to riding, and you're a little concerned about the seat height, the power, that sort of thing, then maybe you go with the KLX 140 RF. Here in Thailand, it's actually a bike that I'm considering just to be able to have as a second bike, and also to build some confidence when building new skills. Because I still feel like this bike is a little bit heavy. That bike's that's under 220 pounds. And it's 75 pounds lighter though. So, and the seat height is 33.9 inches instead of 34. So just a couple things to consider. But all in all, I think this is a great starting bike for anybody. Can't go wrong with Kawasaki. Although this is a new engine, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Kawasaki usually makes engines that are mostly bulletproof. But here it is, KLX 230. Tell me what you think. Make a comment down below. Thanks for tuning in. Catch you in the next video.